Wow, looking at this, I am starting to look pregnant. Jeez, I'm red. Do it for the love and I do it for the likes. Hey guys, it's Taasha Reneé here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. A brief introduction on me if you're new to my channel. I am currently a licensed esthetician who specializes in waxing. I am also a stay-at-home mom of one, soon to be two in the next couple of months. So a little backstory on my first pregnancy. I was pregnant back in 2018. I currently have a 2-year-old. Yeah, shit. With my first son, we had an unassisted home birth.
Stop crying.
Mommy!
Yes.
I just had a freaking baby on my bed. Put the link below if you haven't seen our birth video. I'm going to be comparing both pregnancies from how I felt for the entire first trimester up until the 20-week mark, and then I'm just going to share the similarities and differences. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, please keep on watching. I had to get a lot of this information from looking at my previous videos. This is another reason why I document a lot of my journey. I forgot a lot of things happened in my first pregnancy that I wasn't even aware of if it wasn't for me looking back on the videos. So I'm gonna start off with the first trimester. And the first trimester for most women is usually the hardest part of pregnancy because that's when you experience like extreme fatigue, like you're super tired and you get extremely nauseous. So I found out I was pregnant at 4 weeks with my son and I didn't have any symptoms. My husband and I were trying to conceive for a few years, so I used to get extremely anxious and I would take tests like every single month. So when I took my first pregnancy test, I didn't even know I was pregnant. Surprisingly, the test was positive, and it wasn't until about 6 weeks and a couple of days was when the nausea hit me. And for that, I basically took a lot of ginger, from ginger snaps to ginger cookies to actual ginger tea. I literally took a lot of ginger because that was the most suggested thing for me to take for morning sickness. I was tired a lot. I actually stopped working 2 months into my pregnancy because I was working a little ways away from home. My husband and I came to a decision for me to stay at home. So I experienced majority of my first pregnancy being at home. I didn't have an appetite. Usually for like the first trimester, you end up like losing weight because it's hard to keep anything down. And I did actually throw up in my first trimester a couple of times. Another thing that happened in my first trimester, I had like crazy mood swings. The reasons that I was crying for was really nothing to be crying for.
Tasha's been cooking me lunch so I can take to work. As I'm leaving, she's like, don't forget your lunch. I always take it in the plastic grocery bags you get from the store. But apparently I threw them away the other night. So I go, Tasha, I can't take lunch to work. You know what? I'm gonna just buy lunch. That's your excuse? I'm like, Tasha, I'm just playing. I'm just trying to agitate you. Why would you do that? And she had this green apple she was eating and she just chucked it like across the kitchen floor. And it hit the wall and it splattered all over the place. And the apple was by the front door. The dog's looking at me. I'm looking at the dog. All of a sudden, all I hear in the bedroom is... And I was like, oh my God. I just sent Tasha through her first pregnancy mood swing.
So something that was so annoying, when I tell you, like, I'm so grateful for what I experienced now in this pregnancy because the first one, I didn't realize how much shit I went through. So here I am dealing with morning sickness or just being extremely tired and being at home, to having pink eye, waking up and like your eyes can't even open. And I was just struggling. I remember I had a sore throat one time where like I couldn't breathe, I was congested, I couldn't really swallow, so it made it hard for me to eat. I was just miserable for a few weeks. And it almost made me feel like, damn, how do people have more than one kid if they have to go through this again? Like, who would electively choose to have more than one kid? But it all passes. And that's the great thing about pregnancy, is that nothing really lasts forever. So that was really all I experienced in my first trimester for my first pregnancy. And I'm just gonna give you a real recap. I said I was really nauseous, I was super tired, I had crazy mood swings, I had pink eye, I threw up a few times, and I was just sick. So take that and talk about my pregnancy currently. I didn't find out I was pregnant until 6 weeks. It was a 2-week difference between the first and the second because I knew that we were trying. Being that I'm breastfeeding as well as not having a cycle, there was nothing for me to really track. So I didn't even know when I would possibly get pregnant. It wasn't until like I almost didn't really have an appetite to say like, you know what, maybe I should take a test. But by the time I went to my prenatal visit, I found out that I was actually further along than I even expected. By that time, I absolutely was experiencing the nausea. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, like the day after that, I didn't want to eat anything. Like I had no appetite. So I haven't thrown up this pregnancy. I have not had really any mood swings. I haven't been sick at all. So there was like no sore throat, no conjunctivitis, but I was really tired. That's one thing. But it was kind of hard for me to sleep that much because I am with a toddler. I can't really just sleep it away. I have to wake up and tend to him. Like the first trimester, I really was like going through it. For both pregnancies, I was extremely tired, extremely nauseous, and just really didn't want to eat. I'd like to think that this pregnancy is going a lot easier, and I'm very grateful for that. I thought like waking up with the morning sickness, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't take this. Like one day it just magically appears and it just completely goes away. You just realize that you start feeling better, you're able to eat. It's like those days are golden. Let's catch up a little bit to halfway through my pregnancy. So halfway through my pregnancy is about 20 weeks. That's when I started to feel more flutters or feel like the baby move a little bit. And it was just like the smallest amount of flutters. I was like, is this gas? I don't even know what that is. I didn't have any cravings. Around halfway through my pregnancy, that's when my boobs started to get a lot bigger.
My damn titties have grown. My boobs are a lot bigger. My areolas are a lot darker. And why is this funny to you?
Because I was going to say something, but it's inappropriate. Say areolas are like Jada Fires.
Jada Fire titties. Bruh! My areola is not this big.
My areolas and everything just started to get larger and darker. Almost halfway through my pregnancy is when I started to see like little droplets of milk when I tried to squeeze it out, and I was like, oh shit, I have milk on my titties. This is weird as hell to me because there's no baby here. Also, that's when I started to like pee a little bit. Like every time I would sneeze, little drips of pee would come out.
Pee just freaking came out like it was running down my damn leg. I really need to freaking work on my Kegels. This is not supposed to be happening at 20 weeks.
Teddy bear, how old are you? 1, 2, 3,
You guys.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yo, pee is running out. Oh my god!
My breasts used to itch a lot. So coming up on halfway through my pregnancy right now, I still don't have any cravings. And around the 20-week mark, same with my first pregnancy, was when I experienced the little flutters, the little kicks. I feel like now with this pregnancy, I do feel the baby moving a lot more. So a thing with my breasts, I know I said in my first pregnancy, I had like darker nipples, darker areolas. It was larger. Right now, I don't even know how to compare it because, to be honest with you, although I made a video on this, I am currently still breastfeeding a 2-year-old. And to be honest, I feel like my milk had dried up. I stopped doing it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know how my body is working at this moment, like if he's trying to like start more milk production. So I don't know how to compare. As far as like it getting bigger, I don't really notice that because it's usually always deflated because my son is still on my breast. I have to pee a lot. Like that's one thing that I can compare with both times. I pee a lot. Now I'm going to talk about the real similarities by choice. So 2 of the main similarities that I'm doing with both pregnancies is not knowing the gender. And that's just because I just don't want to find out, and I just don't want to know. I love the baby regardless, and knowing is not going to change anything, and not knowing is not going to change anything either. So we just choose not to find out. Another similarity that I plan to do for this pregnancy is also to have a natural birth. We did have a home birth the first time, but it was unassisted and it was unplanned. But I do plan on having a intentional home birth with the midwife and with a doula if I get one. I did have a doula with my first. Since it was an unplanned, unassisted home birth, I didn't have like my midwife or my doula until after I'd already delivered my son. To talk about the major differences between both pregnancies, I am not as active as I was at all. One, I have to blame COVID. I've been going to all of my prenatal appointments by myself, and I just haven't really left the house too much. With my first pregnancy, I was very active. Where we used to live, the last apartment, there was a pool there, so I used to go to the pool pretty much like almost every day to go and like prep my body and work out and stretch and do all of these different things in the pool. And I don't know if it's because of COVID or if it's because I just don't feel like doing it, but I really haven't been as active, and I really do think that that's something that I need to work on. Another big difference, like I mentioned, is that I'm breastfeeding. So with my first pregnancy, obviously it was my first child, and this one, I am going through this pregnancy while still breastfeeding. And I really don't know how it's going to end or how that's going to affect my body and my son and the connection when I bring a new child into the world. Like, I imagine me obviously pushing out my child and having two of them on my breast at the same time. Like, I don't even know what to expect. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's worth mentioning when it comes to like comparing both of the pregnancies. I know they say a lot of times that your belly gets a lot bigger or you show a lot faster during your second pregnancy, and I didn't really notice it much in the beginning, but now at this point when I'm comparing it, I really am getting a lot bigger at this point versus my first one. I just realized a couple of days ago, I'm like, damn, I'm really doing this again, and I don't think I'm ready, only because I feel like I'm just so calm, and now that I have like a couple months left, it's like it's hitting me, and I'm like, damn, Tasha, what have you done? Like, you haven't done anything. And the reason I haven't done anything is because I have all the stuff that I had from when I had my son. Like, I literally have all of his clothes. We cloth diapers, so I have all of his diapers, and I feel like I need to realize that this is a completely different pregnancy, and you can't just hold on to what you have and think that everything is just gonna go smooth sailing. Like, I feel like I need to work out more. I do need to eat better. I do need to do my stretches and go to the chiropractor and do all of these things to make sure that I keep my body in check, because I was pregnant at 30. I am currently 32. I will have this baby at 33. Not that I'm old, but the more I age, the harder it is to maintain yourself. So I feel like if I were to get a head start, and I keep saying that I'm going to take care of myself, but I really need to, because God only knows how I'm going to experience postpartum with this new baby. But I am really grateful to be pregnant a second time, even thinking that I wasn't ever going to be able to have a baby. As much as I said I don't know how people can get pregnant again, I am happy that I'm doing it again, and I'm really excited to continue to share my journey with you guys. Our family channel is where I share all of our pregnancy updates, where I'm going to be sharing my birth and my labor and all of that will be on my family channel. But when it comes to like in-depth motherhood tips and lock updates and skincare stuff and just all around Taasha Reneé things, that's where I'm going to be sharing it on this channel. So if you're interested in staying tuned with me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as well as like this video, and let me know if you like these kind of things. Let me know what else you want to see when it comes to my pregnancy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love y'all, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.